I'm Dale from Dale's Gig Reviews and Metallaville Online Magazine. I am joined by Adam Methven from Worksop. How are you?
Yeah, all good, mate. Thank you. How you doing?
I'm not too bad. So you're in the Fallen State, the Addiction, and am I right with the Lost Days?
Yeah, so I'm on all three in some roundabout way. Yeah, so Fallen State, I've been in since 2020, so that all happened sort of during COVID.
Yeah,
The Lost Days is a band I started like 10 years ago, and then The Addiction is a kind of evolution from the Lost Days that started around 2019. So yeah,
yeah. And your brother in that one, is it your brother?
he was for a brief while. He played bass for us for a little bit, then he's off
Yeah,
doing his
Alex
own
James.
thing now. Yeah, that's him. He's off doing his own thing now as well. So.
Oh, right. Okay. Who you got to replace him?
The original bass player was Sam Williams, who went on to join These Wicked Rivers. We've been friends for a long time now. And then when he sort of took a step back from These Wicked Rivers, I was still in the fallen state. So we looked at getting the band back together for the Addiction, and Sam was available. So we sort of got Sam back in. But Sam was, like I say, the original bass player from the Lost Days as well. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Um, so still talking about the addiction. Yeah, I'd laugh on your Spotify because you describe yourself as Skid Row, Choir Boys, Crash Diet, and Tigers of Pentang. I think Skid Row and Choir Boys are a little bit different, unless you're on about the drinking.
Yeah, and I think that's been a long time since I've seen that, but that might be like the bands we've played alongside. That might be the bands we've supported. I think. So I think we've
Yeah.
played with all of those bands. So yeah, I think they're just bands we've supported basically. Yeah, yeah,
Oh wow, because I saw Skid Choir Boys on Saturday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I've seen Choir Boys a few times. I met Spike quite a lot of times. He's quite the character.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, so you've just done a performance at the Yorkshire, sorry, the Church House with the Addiction, haven't you? Not so long ago.
Yes, so that's part of Rock for the Fox event. So that's to help sort of bring awareness and help the guys that sort of support the prevention of illegal hunting, basically. So
Yeah,
we're part of that, and it's my father and mother and father-in-law that put that on, and I help them sort of put it together and build them the sort of posters and that sort of thing, and play the event as well. So
yeah.
yeah, that was our sort of last outing. The Addiction we've not done a lot recently, so most of our recent gigs have been in support of that Rock for the Fox thing. And we need to get back doing some more as well. So.
Yeah. Well, up until COVID, you seem to have some sort of momentum with the addiction. Then COVID happened, and that momentum seemed to stop. But you are touring, you are performing. I saw you at the Dukeries
Yeah,
not so long ago with the 10th anniversary of the Lost Days.
yeah, that's right. So it really did. COVID really put a spanner in the works. I think we had over 50 shows planned just for 2020. Some
Yeah,
festivals, there was some that we didn't announce. There were like support tours and things like that. And there's going to be like a real solid building year for us. And like most people, it ruined a lot of bands' sort of momentum and ultimately some career as well. So.
yeah,
But yeah, we had a busy year lined up, and it was during that time when we were sort of still writing songs and looking at what we'd do when the pandemic was finished and everything, is when I got asked then to if I'd be interested in joining the Fallen State. It was around that time, so and at the time it was quite a big sort of step forward from what I'd been doing before.
yeah,
So yeah, it was a strange one. Didn't know if that was going to be the right thing to do or not. But then ultimately, I've been in the Fallen State for the last 5 years, so I guess it kind of did work out.
yeah. So going on to Fallen State, you did the album Between Hope and Disillusion. Is
Yeah,
that your first album you've recorded?
the first full album that I've ever actually done. I've done like loads of little singles or EPs and stuff, but it's the first proper piece of work and I suppose you'd call it art, I guess. But like yeah, full piece of work that I've ever put together with anyone. Super proud of it. And that was sort of put together in 2020. And released in 2021. I think we did. So everything feels like such a long time ago now. But yeah, we sort of recorded that in when we could during like lockdowns and things like that. I
Yeah.
remember actually, I think the first session of the studio, we basically had to go home. Like it was like, right, you're not allowed to work anymore. You're not allowed to be away from home anymore. So we had to go home. Like after we'd recorded maybe the first half of the album, maybe the first five songs. But this was all right actually because it gave us a little bit more time to refine the second half of it, I guess. So yeah, that worked out all right.
Yeah, it's a good album. There's some heavier tracks in which I'm quite pleased with because I like the heavier side of the rock metal genre.
Yeah,
So,
nice.
but you also did a song with Liberty Lies, Highway to Hell.
Yeah, yeah, that was must have been around this similar sort of time. Maybe was that when was that? It was after the album come out, I think. Yeah, it must have been. And that was their they did like a Halloween album, so they got some guys from all different bands to feature on their albums and that. And yeah, Liberty Lies are brilliant band, and we were lucky enough to have them support us on our last tour. That would have been their final tour in April sort of time this year.
Yeah,
But yeah, great band. It was yeah really cool to jump on and do that bit of classic rock. And as I love it, that's my it's my wheelhouse. I love all the classic stuff. So that was cool.
yeah. A bit like me, brought up on a diet of AC/DC and Motorhead and
Oh,
Saxon.
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I love all those bands. It's yeah. Sometimes you get a little bit of slating, especially being in the sort of scene that I'm in, where it's like sort of modern sort of rock and metal. And then we're having discussions while we're on tour, like with the rest of the guys, and they're saying, have you heard the new Sleep Token thing? Have you heard the new whoever Don Broco or Biffy Clyro or whatever? And I'm like, and I'm still in. If I've got control of the aux cable, then I've got like AC/DC, Motorhead, bands like that playing Metallica, obviously, all those guys.
Yeah. But as you can see behind me, I've got all sorts of range of music. Believe it or not, the Vixen and Lita Ford is more my girlfriend than me. I never really got into them. But got Ice Nine Kills there, and then you've got the classic Megadeth and Iron Maiden. So it's
Yeah,
quite a mix.
nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm the same. Like, it's not just I don't even just exclusively like rock and metal. I like all kinds of things. So it's good. It's sometimes like having a taste that gives that you listen to. I mean, I like classical music. I've unashamedly I've been to see like Michael Bublé. Things like that. Like, and I think sometimes as a musician, it's really cool to have a load of different influences because you never know how that's going to end up into your
Yeah.
songwriting.
Sorry,
You never know the
you
element.
lost me. You lost me at Michael Bublé.
It catches a lot of people out. They never really expect that one, but as a show, because he had it with a big band and everything, I thought it was phenomenal. I really did.
Yeah. So when was that?
Oh, a long time now. Maybe 20, 2011, maybe 2012 sort of time. Long
I
time
did.
ago, but
So they defrosted him and wheeled him out for Christmas,
oh
and
yeah,
then
it
you
must have
went
been
to
near Christmas. Yeah, absolutely.
see. I've got quite the similar mix, but not Michael Bublé. Even I wouldn't admit to something like that. But I do. My embarrassing one is I do have quite the record collection, the vinyl collection of Two Unlimited.
I wouldn't know what that is, to be honest.
You don't know what Two Unlimited is?
No,
You would.
actually,
You
no.
how old are you?
32.
32. When you were back in the late 90s or early 90s, no, 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 no. There's no
Oh yeah,
limit.
right. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
Terrible.
We're all allowed to like whatever we want. That's the rules. It's all good.
Yeah. So with the Fallen State, they've sort of like had a weird, in my opinion, a weird run since they started about 2014. It were like three EPs, then six EPs, and then few singles. Then finally, a Dead Set Endeavour album, and then this new album with you. They seem to like have like a staggered sort of journey before they got their album.
Yeah,
Um,
I
yeah,
think
so now you're part of that journey.
yeah, I think well, there's a few bands that have sort of done the same sort of thing as the band did before. Obviously, this is before I joined, but I see the reason behind it is because rather than just putting out an album that can take a lot of time and resource and things to put together, I think putting out a couple of an EP with 3 or 4 songs on it maybe is a good way to say, right, here's our next set of songs while the band's still evolving and still finding their sound and things. So I think that's maybe why I don't actually know if this is exactly why they did it, but I would imagine that's why, because then you can do that and then you've got a new product maybe. I hate the word product when it comes to music, but you've got a new product then to then have a reason to go on tour, sort of things like, right, we've got a new thing to promote. So, and to be fair to the band, like I say, this is all before I joined, but it must have worked for them because in the earlier sort of days, they managed to get some really cool shows and supports for some awesome bands like Blackstone Cherry and Hailstorm and bands like that. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, it worked out. And then obviously they did their album maybe probably 5 or 6 years after they started, something like that. And then, but I think sonically that took such a turn. I think that's you can hear the progress of the band from each EP that sort of goes by. You can hear how, like, as musicians, they're getting better, how better the sonically the albums sound and things like that. So yeah, it's really cool. And I think ultimately, like we got to maybe a pinnacle of like the sound as like how we've got it now. But maybe we just I don't think we was entirely happy with the album when it went out in the end. I think we would have liked maybe more time, but that's always the problem, isn't it? But yeah, I'm super happy with that album anyway. But yeah, I think there's definitely been a progression of how the band evolved throughout those, and I think that's a good way of doing it. So you never you have to put all your resource into doing an album that can take you ages. You can change incrementally, I think, through each one. So
Yeah. Are you? Is the band looking at releasing another album? Are you in the process of writing or recording?
there's always some songs kicking about. Like we've had John who just the other night, our guitarist, who it basically before we go to the album, he's the guy that sort of helps us produce sort of thing. So he'll put like a lot of stuff together. So we've just been sending a little bits back and forth recently. The trouble
Yeah.
we've got at the moment is that apart from me and John, everyone else in the band are off having kids. Basically, it's like such a. It must have been a party that me and John weren't invited to, but so like the bass player Greg, he's just had a little boy, bless him, earlier this year, just before we went on tour. Um, our guitarist Dan has not long since just had another little one. Our drummer Rich is in the hospital as we speak, waiting for the birth of his kid. And then so yeah, we're all sort of taken up by extracurricular activities at the minute. So yeah, the songs are always going to be banded about, and I think we'll probably have a conversation maybe early next year about what we do going forward, about maybe recording anything and tours and things like that. So
Yeah. Well, I know their singer Ben Stenning left the band. So how does a lad from Worksop end up singing for a band from Barnstable in Devon?
yeah, it's not the most logical route, is it? I think I put myself on their radar because we supported them at one show in Doncaster. So they was on tour in 2018, and I knew we used to play quite a lot in Doncaster. Actually, it would have been the
Yeah.
Lost Days at the time, not the Addiction. But yeah, we used to play a fair bit at this venue, the Woolpack. I don't know if you know it. Um, and yeah, so if any sort of good touring acts come through, I was always like onto the promoters, like, oh, we'd probably be a good fit for this one or whatever. And we got the support show. And because at the time we only maybe had, I don't know, 5 or 6 original songs that we was like really happy playing with. We probably had more than that, but some were just sort of dropped after we'd written them, thinking what we're doing there. But so we'd always like throw in some covers, as we still do anyway. And one of the covers we did was Love Gun by Kiss. And
Yeah.
I think it just stuck out like a sore thumb from the lineup that we was playing with. They're all these like really sort of really cool heavy bands, and then we just started playing a Kiss song, and I think everyone's sort of like, "Are they playing Kiss?" Like, and so like, and then obviously I started talking to the all the other band members from all the other bands after the show, and I think when time came for Ben to leave the band and the Fallen State needed a new singer, I think they just maybe remembered me because obviously they remembered that I wasn't terrible, although I wouldn't have even come up in conversation. But maybe because I played Kiss, because the bass player Greg, he always says, "I just remember you playing Kiss." It's like so random. I was like, I know it is random. Yeah, we did play Kiss, but yeah, I think I just come up on the radar, and there was obviously looking for people that suited. He was looking for a singer that suited the sound and could carry off the songs, but also maybe take them in to a slightly different direction, but also someone that kind of understands it's not just about I'm in a band and it's really easy. It's just like kind of knowing and understanding how much of a commitment it is and things like that. I think everything just matched up. And these days you can write and record so much over things like this, where you don't need to always be in a room together to get things done. So a lot of the
Yeah.
time we were sort of like recording ideas, sending them back and forwards, and then I'd go down occasionally and would just hang out and rehearse and things like that, and just meet up in the studio in Manchester when we are recording the album and things like that. So it's been a lot easier, to be fair, than I think we all thought it would have been.
Yeah. Oh, that's good then. The thing I've got is Ben, the singer, left. You got the gig. Now Ben, the singer, is back, and you're a six piece. So how does that work?
Yeah, we weren't sure, because the way it had gone over the last couple of years, and it's getting, most bands will agree, but it's getting harder and harder to even get your tour seen. Never mind people attend. Like you have to spend a lot of money just to promote the show, to let people know you're going on tour. It's
Yeah.
such a grind, and then it's like, do we spend a lot of time and resources again just recording more stuff? And I think we got to a point where it was like, shall we do this tour because we've got nothing to promote? Should we just do this tour and see how we all feel about it, basically, and see what everyone wants to do afterwards? So we kind of looked at it. It's like it could be our final tour, basically. We never tried to sell it as that, because we weren't trying to, rip people off and say like, oh, come and see us, and then we'll do another final tour like a couple of years later or anything like that. We just said, look, and I said it to people, the crowd on stage every night. It says, I don't know if this is going to be a final time, but if it is, this is why we wanted to do it, and that's why we got Ben back. We thought, would it be a cool idea to go out, if that is what we're doing, with all of us.
Mm.
The trouble is how do you get two lead singers to sing on the songs? It's like, do you take it in turns? I mean, and then that's always awkward coming on and off stage all the time. So we sat down and just tried to figure out how we could best split the songs. So there was a lot of like doing a verse and then doing a chorus and things like that. And we was all like really anxious about it, and because of, obviously, we all still have to have day jobs and things like that, we didn't have the time we'd like to like really nail it. Like we'd worked on it as much as we could on our own, but there's nothing like actually rehearsing together in a room. But we did it, and after the first night, it was like, this is great, this is going to work fine. And then by the end, we had it down to a fine art, and we was almost telepathic in the end. Like sometimes when like Ben might know I'm not going to quite get that line, he'd just know to get it, and like vice versa. And it was like it works perfectly. It's like really surprising how well it works. But it was really cool because it gave us a little bit of a breather as well, because some of these songs are really quite difficult to sing. So like getting another few seconds worth of breath in there really helps out as well. But yeah, it was really fun, really cool.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be interesting because you're now a six piece. So to have two front singers, it also gives you a bit of that niche because it's quite unusual. You don't really see that apart from like in symphonic metal where you got the woman and you got the bloke.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think you're gonna be quite like
No,
that.
not quite. But it works. I think what works as well is that, because even though we've both been singers in the same band, and I've been singing the songs that he'd written with the band, and he's ultimately done mine on this tour and things like that. But we've got really quite different voices. So together they've actually worked really well. Like if there's parts where we would be doing like harmonizing or things like that, it's just, instead of like it sounding like two guys singing the same thing, even if we are singing the same lines, it's kind of worked together because the voice or like tonalities and things like that are really quite different. So yeah, it
Yeah.
was really cool. It come together well.
Yeah, I'll have to come and see that. That sounds interesting. So, have you got any sort of tours and festivals booked for next year for the fall and state first?
Nothing. No. Like I said, I think it's just basically a case of we'll have to chat next year when we've got some kind of idea of what's going on with everyone's kids, basically. Like it's just one of those. It's crazy all at the same time. But yeah, I think when everyone's had a minute with the families and things like that, we'll look ahead and see what's going to happen. So I think if we tour next year with the Fallen State, it's probably going to be more sort of like this time next year, sort of later on in the year, I thought.
Yeah, got a playpen on stage. It'll be all right.
Yeah, yeah, we've got to, yeah, bring a like a nursery manager along with us. Like, you should have these while we're on stage a minute. We'll be back in a bit.
Yeah, that's so. Who does all the songwriting for the Fallen State?
Um, well, it's a bit like it's always collaborative. So like whether someone's got the main idea or whatever, like I say, John puts a lot of it together, and John's like his musical theory is so good. So I'll write him a really basic bit, um, and then he'll take my core idea of it and maybe develop it. I guess John does a lot of the heavy lifting, but no one's exclusively the songwriter, I guess. When it comes to like lyrics and vocals and stuff, I'd say I did 95% of that. But
Yeah,
that's all cool. And other people again, they had their input and even melody ideas, not just lyrics and things like that. So it is collaborative. Like we really do all sort of work together on it. And we're not the sort of band where we then decide we have to dissect royalties in each way, sort of thing. It's just like we're all involved, so let's just do it that way, and everyone's happy that
yeah,
way. But yeah, it's collaborative effort. But yeah, I'd say John does a lot of the heavy lifting.
yeah. What about when it comes to the addiction?
That's mostly been me. We haven't done a lot of songs recently because, like I said, the last sort of 5 years I've been the Fallen State or whatever. But um, I wrote most of that stuff. Um, we need to do more, to be honest. I've got an EP that I was hoping to get out for next month, but it's just absolutely not going to happen. I've not even started recording it now because of yeah, it would have been a bit of a tricky year and stuff. But yeah, there'll be more to come. Jamie, who's the guitarist now in The Addiction, is phenomenal guitarist and really knows his way around. A little bit like The Addiction's John. He really knows how to sort of build things. If I say to him I want this particular kind of sound or this that, and the other, he just knows how to build that environment for it. So but yeah, it's been me up to now. But again, it's always a collaborative. Like Sam, sometimes bass player just come like a incredible lyric actually out of anywhere. Never mind his bass playing, he can come up with some incredible lyrics. So
Yeah. So when you come up with a seed of an idea, are you torn between, oh, this will be good for the addiction, or this will be good for the Fallen State, or
no, I think it's different enough. It's different enough that they never really clash. I did initially worry about that when I first joined the Fallen State. I was like, I don't want to put like I'd rather put 100% of my effort into one rather than just split my way across. But I think after a few years, I realized that they're not the same at all. So, and because I don't do a lot of like the guitar work and stuff like that for the Fallen State, it just allows me to sort of get into what the song is, and then I can start writing the ideas from that. Whereas in the addiction, I'll write the guitar first. I don't know why that keeps going off. I'll write the guitar first, um, a lot of the time, and then put vocals to it. That sort of that way around. But yeah, I think it's different enough that it never really clashes. I don't tend to start writing stuff for the Fallen State. There's always usually an idea from someone, and then I'll sort of put my ideas to that. But I'm not sort of making the music for it for the Fallen State sort of thing.
yeah, yeah, I get you. Going back to the Fallen State, the guitarist Dan Oak, he had lung cancer well before you joined.
Yeah,
How's his health? How's he doing? Is he all good and strong?
yeah, he's great. Yeah, yeah, and stay strong. Yeah, he's got some guns on him, bless him. But yeah, he's all good. It's yeah, I never really knew him when he was going through it. I think it was
Yeah.
just after we'd supported them when I was in the last days. But yeah, he's great. He's doing really well. He's got, like I say, he's just had another young one. So his family life and all good. Yeah,
Oh, that's brilliant. Because I read about that, and it were quite a journey he went on with that one.
yeah,
Say, never smoked and got lung cancer. It was quite surprising.
yeah. Typical, isn't it? I think it was on tour in Europe at the time. So it's like the band's like first proper European tour. He was there and saying like he didn't feel all that well. And
Yeah.
then the guys are like, "Oh, come on, like we've got stuff to do and help lift gear and things like that." And he just said he felt really unwell. He gets back and then he's told that he has cancer, which is dreadful. But yeah, come through it the other side and he's great, mate. Yeah, he's really cool.
Oh, that's fantastic. Um, the one thing that I actually really love about your career, you personally, is the Hangout Pod.
Okay. Yeah, that was a little adventure I went on with my friend Matt. We've been best mates since we were like 11, so we've been pretty tight, and we've been on about doing something like it for ages, and we finally got round to it, and just kind of we kind of had an idea of each episode we was doing, but we just kind of made bits up as we went along, and it's been really fun. Yeah, need to do some more.
Yeah, you seem to chat quite a lot of shit.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I should gold medalists in that pair of us. Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's the thing is with the pod, it's kind of just it's exactly what we'd be talking like if there was no cameras or mics on us, really. That's just basically how we talk. So it's like, let's just see if anyone's interested in it.
Yeah, yeah. I was watching some of the clips earlier, and you even discussing Marmite and
Yeah, I mean that was cool. Like, even Henderson's relish actually like reached out to us and saying like, "Oh, we're not against Marmite, but all this kind of thing." But we appreciate that. That was really
yeah.
cool.
Do you still do it?
No, we've not done any now for a while. I think we probably earlier this year was like the last one we did.
Yeah,
Again, it's just life gets in the way, doesn't it? Obviously, if it's not music, it's work. I mean, I'm away constantly with the day job as well. Um, he's um he's just moved a little bit further away than he was. He used to literally live a 7 iron away from me, like just around the corner. So yeah, that's put it into a little bit of a tricky spot because we used to record sort of like on a Monday, and then it's tough with like say day jobs and things like that all get in the way. So, but we are on about doing some more episodes and maybe refining it a bit. It might not even be called the same thing when we come back to doing it, but we're looking at doing some again.
yeah. What about the stuff that you're listening to at the moment? What is your go-to tunes?
At the minute, changes constantly. It's like if you look at my Spotify playlist, it's psychotic. Like none of it is like similar, like all the time. So the last song I've just listened to was "Dogs of War" by Motley Crue. Um, on my recent playlist, Liberty Lies actually. I've been listening to those again recently. A band called Matilda Shakes, who are more like an indie band from Sheffield.
Yeah, I know
Um,
Matilda Shakes.
yeah, yeah. Jimi Hendrix, massive Hendrix fan. What else have I got here? I've got some folky stuff like the Levelers, Dropkick Murphys, Ferocious Dog. Like it's just I'd like listen to all sorts of things. So um Hendrix at the minute is one I've been listening to a lot, but I've been listening to instrumentalists, like guitarists, like playing the songs just like on YouTube. There's a guy called Sean Mann, and he does some like instrumentals of like Hendrix songs, and he does like John Mayer and all these kind of brilliant guitarists, and he does like
Yeah,
the songs including the vocal lines on guitar, and it's absolutely phenomenal. So I've been listening to that a bit as well. Yeah,
yeah. Well, with Jimi Hendrix, everybody always goes to like All Along the Watchtower and Voodoo Child. But there's Voodoo Child Slight Return, and it's a long bluesy number, and
yes,
it's absolutely phenomenal.
yeah,
That is my go-to song when it comes to anything bluesy is Voodoo Child Slight Return. That's
yeah, it's
amazing.
awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but I also listen to a bit of Rory Gallagher as well. He's a fantastic guitar, was a fantastic guitarist.
Yeah,
Yeah, anything like that. I love guitar music, so you
yeah,
know,
same. And I think I don't know if it's just the maturity in me sort of getting old now, but like I've started to really get into like the blues again. Like I obviously always like the blues, like especially if as a rock guitarist, I'm very blues based anyway. But yeah, just getting into the more sort of bluesy side of rock and stuff. Like yeah, it's the kind of music you can put on any time of day, isn't it? Blues, like
yeah.
you can have
Well,
it on in the morning and chill,
AC/DC,
and
yeah, AC/DC Ride On.
ride
That's
on.
a beautiful song. If you've not listened to that, Ride On. It's
I don't think I have.
absolutely. If you like Hendrix, you'd love AC/DC Ride On. That's just really up there. Beautiful song.
Oh, okay.
So, one for you to check out.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, that's on the list.
So, going back to Um, your other band, The Addiction. Have you any more plans for gigs around the area, Worksop, Sheffield, and
Uh,
or
we're hope
further afield?
we're hoping to do a little bit like what we did in October, is where we'll get the Lost Days out of retirement again, and maybe do that set where we can do like loads of covers and just have like a good sort of a good night in entertaining people that aren't necessarily into all the original stuff. And then maybe support ourselves again with the addiction like we did before. Um, 'Cause that was actually turned out better than I thought it would. Like the addiction got a lot more support in Workshop than I thought we would. I know we're kind of a Workshop band, but we've never really played Workshop that much. Not as much as we did with the Lost Days. So the whole thing worked out pretty well. And then I think we're back. Um, when will it be? It'll be the middle of next year, maybe July, when the next Rock for the Fox is on again in Workshop at the Duke is.
Yeah.
I think that's what we've got solidly planned at the minute. But we are looking at adding some more dates and maybe doing some shows in support of other bands and things like that. And until we've got the sort of material down again, now we can start focusing on it again to build like a headline set for the Addiction.
Yeah. Well, I love the Dukeries. The light in there for a photographer like myself is just, it's a dream
Yeah.
to take any sort of pictures. And when I saw you, I think it were August, I think it were, um,
Mhm.
I just got my new Nikon mirrorless camera Z7 and I was trying it out. And
Yeah.
actually, on the Facebook message, I've sent you the post I did. It was my night off, so I didn't review you, but I did take a load of photographs trying out my new camera.
Nice. Yeah, we were
They're
the
not as
guinea
good as
pigs.
what I take now, but it was my first night out with it.
No, no, fair enough. No, yeah, it's cool. Yeah, Jukers is
Yeah,
great as well. Like it's underappreciated how much I think Workshop relies on that venue. To be fair, because if there's not that, what else is there around? Like, where's the nearest proper venue? Like I don't know. You got to go way
yeah.
out of town. There's nothing else in Workshop or immediately surrounding areas. So yeah, the sound's great in there. Big stage, lighting, like you say, is really cool. So yeah, we love it
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, it's fabulous. Unlike your lighting at the background, which is
Don't know what's going on there. It's I've got a lamp and it's just every 2 seconds just trying to turn itself off. I did have another light here, but that's died on me as well. There we go.
it's like we're going back to an old-fashioned rave. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and I highly recommend anybody to go and listen to the album we did with the Fallen State, Between Hope and Disillusion. The other album and the EPs are also really good, but obviously I'm going to promote you because I'm talking to you, so ignore the rest and listen to that one.
Nice one. Thank you for
On
having me on, mate.
on Spotify, there's only two songs for The Addiction, My Sweet Valentine and Cut the Wire. That's all that there is on Spotify for that band. But if anybody sees your band's touring, you're definitely worth going to see you.
Nice
And
one.
hopefully I'll meet up with you in the new year.
Yes, mate. Looking forward to it. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the time.
Cheers, mate.